Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. Tonight we're going to continue work on my new CI platform, SaturnCI. I'm going to share my screen and catch you guys up on what has changed since last time. So here we have the latest version of SaturnCI. I tweeted earlier that I reached a milestone today. SaturnCI passed its test suite on SaturnCI. So that was kind of neat. And now you can see it has passed several times. It's nice to see a bunch of consecutive green there. So I'll tell you where I'm at right now. Okay, so a big part of my value proposition for this product is the UI. Like a big selling point is that the UI is going to be much easier than GitHub Actions or CircleCI. Hopefully the other ones, I haven't used the other ones, but at least GitHub Actions and CircleCI. So that's really important to me. One thing that I personally am not satisfied with yet is if you want to see the details of a test run, you click a link and it takes you to this other page. That's not too bad, but it's not great either. Because what if I want to see, I'm like, oh, these failed. I want to quickly see which tests failed. I have to go to this separate page. It's not quite as nice as it could be. And so what I want is something more like this, where you can click around and it's two panes. But as you can see, the pane on the right doesn't look very good. And so I want to figure out how to make this pane a bit nicer. I want to have it I want to have the right pane take up the full width of the screen. I want to have the left pane and the right pane together take up the entire width of the screen. Because right now this table just takes up however much space it takes, and then the pane on the right is fixed width. So I want to, instead of being fixed width, I want it just to flow to the natural width. And then for height, I want it to take up the full height that it has available to it. Because right now it's just at an arbitrary height, which is, it's just not that nice. We have this gap down here. It's just not aesthetically pleasing. But then I have some decisions to make. I have to decide how the entire scrolling is going to work. Because you can scroll. Oh, this is annoying. There's just enough runs. Okay, here's what we do. There. Okay, so you can scroll like this, and the whole thing goes. And that could create an awkwardness because it's what happens? I could make this that tall. Right now it matches the height. And that's great when it's this height, but then when I scroll down, it does that. That's not great. So it could be fixed in this position in the screen, but that's maybe kind of weird too. Or maybe it could be that this is just this height also. Everything that's here is just, it takes up the full height. And then just how you scroll this inside this, you scroll this and it just moves by itself also. I think that's probably the answer. Any opinions from anybody? No? Okay. What do I pay you guys for anyway? Okay. So let's do this. I think I might take what I've done and commit it because it was a little bit of work. But first, I'm going to locally run my test suite and see if everything still passes. Looks like it does. Okay. So I'm going to review my changes as I always do before commit. I don't see anything surprising. So I am going to commit that. Change project show page to be 2 panes. Okay, and now that I did my push, we should see on staging, we should see a new line. There we go. So now my test suite is running on CI. All right, so coming back here, the changes that are needed are too much to keep in my head. So I'm going to make some notes. Here's my issue tracking system for SaturnCI. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make notes for this specific item. So in what order do I want to tackle these things? I think I want to take care of the height first. I want to get the height for, I want to get the, okay. I'm just going to do this height thing first because I'm having a hard time articulating myself. And I think it'll be easier just to do, it'll be as easy to do as it would to make a note out of it. Okay, so I want this div to be scrollable. Build list. Okay, so I'm going to say height 500 pixels. That's just an arbitrary choice. It's not what I expected, but it's maybe because there's no overflow setting. There we go. Okay, and now I can like do that. I can scroll this and I can scroll this. So that's good. We just want it to, be the full screen height. So I'm going to commit that. Okay. Yeah, now I want to make it taller. So I'm going to use the help of ChatGPT. I'm going to take a screenshot. I'll give that screenshot to ChatGPT. I'll also give it my project show code. I'll give it my CSS. And I shall say, I want build list and build detail to be the exact, no. Okay. I want build list to take up the full remaining height of the viewport so that the bottom of build list touches the bottom of the viewport. How can I accomplish this? Hey, Sarah.
Hey,
How
sorry
are
I'm
you?
late. I was
No problem.
7 Central, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you're in Eastern.
Indeed, I am. We were just working on my new CI platform called SaturnCI.
Cool.
And I'm trying to figure out how to get these two elements to take up the full height of the viewport. So I asked ChatGPT how to accomplish that. Oh, interesting. Okay, we shall give this a try.
You probably don't want to do that.
Probably don't want to do that. Why?
It's not wrong, but it's probably wrong.
Okay.
You're hard coding that 100 pixels at the top, which is probably not what you're going to want to do. Um,
Yeah, weird. That seems like
so
a bad suggestion.
it does. So structurally, are you looking to you have kind of like the header across the top, and then you're going to have your two panels beside each other that are going to be full height and whatnot, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to
So
be, yeah.
so let's say you have 3 pages of builds. Do you want that header to stay sticking on the screen?
Yeah, the way I want it is like, I want this page to be completely fixed and immovable, if that makes sense. Like you can
Um,
scroll within, oh, let me make it not bad. Okay. You can scroll within this and you can scroll within this, but you can't scroll the page in any other way besides that. Like you can't scroll the full page.
so what I would probably do for this is I would probably set up to the page to have a minimum height that's a minimum height of a full screen. You have your header at the top, and then you'd have your two scrolling sections that are side by side. That would be in a flex.
Okay.
So, um, and if you make those, so you're gonna actually, so if you hop over to your HTML for maybe like the whole page partial.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so you have your project. And if you could go at one layer in your HTML, so probably into your layout, I assume. All right. So if you've got your body, link to, so that's your whole header there. Right. So that's stuff there. That's the current user present. That section is that's your whole. That's most of your header, right? That's kind of like your navigation. That's at the top.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would probably do is on your body, I'd make this whole thing be a flex column and give it. I don't know if you. I don't know if you want to jump into the CS. Just throw a like inline style if you want to really hack it together.
Yeah, I just want to see what it might look like. Okay, so what do I want to do?
So on here, throw style and do a display flex. And I usually use Tailwind now, I'm forgetting the raw CSS. But if you do a display flex, this is going to line everything up horizontally, which you don't want. You want to be vertically.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to want to do your flex direction column. Let me pull up my documentation so I actually speak right CSS.
I'm just going to see what that looks like just for fun. Okay. And I'm going to, just to help orient myself, I'm going to make this have a border, 1 pixel solid red. Okay.
So for this, we're going to do a display flex. We're going to do a flex direction column.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to put a min height on that.
Okay. On the body.
On the body.
Okay.
And we want to do the min height of 100 VH.
What does VH mean?
So, so your HTML doesn't know what 100% means. So if you said 100%, it kind of blows up. So 100 VH means 100%. So it's 100% of the view size. So it's your
Okay.
window height, basically.
Okay.
So basically what we're doing here is we're making things are going to try and collapse. This
Okay.
keeps things kind of growing to be their whatever their natural size is,
Okay.
the way you kind of expect.
And I'm going to take away my heights
Yeah.
that I had set there. Okay,
So
interesting. So this makes them ever so slightly too big, but that's not surprising because there's probably some margin and padding stuff going on.
so so what all the stuff that we just did there just kind of sets up that structure. Your other stuff that's showing up in here, that should be fine. And then what you'd want to do,
Sorry, bear with me while I
no,
do
absolutely.
this.
So the really key thing there is basically we're going to do a flex grow in here eventually, and that's going to say like take up the rest. That's why we want to do that flex stuff.
Okay. Just gonna see what happens when I do this. Okay. I'm just gonna leave it like that because that's at least one variable that I know I don't have to deal with. Okay. And sorry, I'm gonna check one thing also. What if I don't do overflow scroll? And what if I don't put this border? Whoops. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what accounts for that tiny bit more, but I was just curious if that stuff was what was accounting for that, and it looks like it was.
well, so we're gonna
Okay.
so with that, actually, if you hit the command minus a few times, just to make pretend you have less rows or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had a smaller number of rows, you're kind of in this type of a situation. And so hopping back over to the actual partial for the show that you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at. So on here, so you've got the one div there that's the display inlines, and they have the build list inside that. And where does the details show up?
Details. That is right here.
Okay, perfect. So for that on line 11 there, um, just for funsies, for the
Mm-hmm.
style for that, um, why don't we throw a flex grow onto that?
Okay. Like this.
Um, so it would be flex grow 1.
Okay.
And I think
Oh
was that a
wow.
colon or a semicolon?
Um, I'm on a semicolon right here.
Okay. Okay. So what
And I
that's
just
going to
realized I
do,
should make my font bigger. On the last video, this font did not look very good when it was the size it was.
so what that flex grow does is, so what you're doing is you're setting up a bunch of rows of content. So you have
Okay.
your navigation, your header, and then your build details. By doing that flex grow 1, it says take up all the extra space for this
Mm-hmm.
div,
Okay.
right? So with that, um, that gets most of your stuff in place. Now, what I'd be looking to do is your those header one columns or header rows rather.
Uh-huh.
If you do a position sticky, actually, let me take a step back. Are you
Mhm.
worried about supporting IE6?
Extremely.
Okay, I thought so. I throw a position sticky on that and then not worry about it. It's going to work on modern browsers, and that's going to give
Okay.
you a sticky header.
Sorry, let me take a moment to catch my breath here. So when I do this, oh wow. That is very
We'll get
much
there in a
not what I
second.
want, but that's okay. Yeah. I think I'm gonna commit what I've done so far. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. I'm gonna commit what I've done so far, but I'm gonna take away this border. Okay, so what did I do? Here's a good commit message.
It's more detailed
Okay.
than stuff.
Okay, and my test suite continues to pass. Okay, so you said something about making the header sticky.
Um, yeah. So if you do a position sticky,
Mm-hmm.
what that's going to do is it's going to treat it as relative until it kind of scrolls off page and then goes to being position fixed.
I'm not
is
sure if
exactly what we
that's what I want.
So basically it means that header won't move.
Yeah. Let me make sure you and I are on the same page regarding what's desired.
Mhm.
So I don't want the build list and the build detail to scroll together.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Okay,
tackle
so
that then first. So
okay.
so with those so with those two columns, so if you go into your show partial, all right, so you already have that being display flex. It's display row 1. So on that, so your build list, so your build list and your build details, you should be able to throw a overflow scroll onto those.
I believe they already do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they do have that. So we can, okay, we have the width there. Okay. And so there's one thing we're missing, and that's to restrict. So um, so the one last thing then would be, so right now you've got those two columns and their full height. So we actually
Mm-hmm.
do want to restrict that. So for that whole entire container, actually, so yeah, we're going to want to change that min height for the body. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to change that to a maximum height.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, probably just do it height.
Sorry, what's that?
Actually, probably just change that to height, 100% VH.
Okay. Okay.
So if you do that, and now if you hop back and refresh, and that should be doing it. Something's missing in overflow then. Okay, so the
Well, I
body has,
have a hypothesis regarding what's happening. So I'm going to put this border back on here. So I think the body's height is being restricted, but this build list element has a very great height, and that is kind of overriding the height of the body. And the body is not constraining the height of the build list.
sorry, yes. So on your CSS for that wrapping container that has the flex grow,
Mm-hmm.
you also want to throw a flex shrink 1.
Okay.
So that lets it do grow as big as it needs to be, but you also can, if it can be restricted.
Apparently not.
No, apparently not. That.
So, Jonathan, I told ChatGPT that you said that's a bad idea.
Did it say what? The reason there? If you scroll up online. Well, I agree with her assessment there.
Did you say I agree with her assessment?
I don't know if I said her.
Okay.
Aren't all AI robots girls?
Well, yeah, I was curious what you were projecting. Um, anyway, I don't understand this. Here's what I think I want to do. I think I want to try a much simpler experiment. Um, okay. Thing.html, header, um, build list. You know, and we really only need one. Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say add some CSS that gives build list a background color of blue. Hopefully that'll give me the HTML and style and all that I don't really want to type. Sometimes ChatGPT is really slow. Okay. No, give me it all in one file. Give me like way more. Oh, so it's trying to apply all the other stuff from before to this, which is kind of funny. I'll play along. Okay. So build list takes up the whole thing, but now the header is gone. Let's take away a lot of stuff. All I want is the background color. Oh, it took that away. Okay. Okay. I'm going to say, let's take this one step at a time. Below is my current HTML. One step at a time. Walk me through making build list take up the full viewport height. But I think the key thing is I need to add something inside a build list that's much taller than the viewport to make sure that it's going to handle that properly. Oh, so it's giving me all the steps in one response. Okay. Set the body to display as a flex container. All right. Okay, no visible change. This isn't really like one step at a time if each step doesn't have like a visible result. Okay. So that kind of gets us there, but we need to handle the scrolling. Okay. So the tall thing causes a problem. Overflow auto. Okay. Okay, I'm going to say what, okay, the code above doesn't get me what I need. The tall element pushes build list so that build list is just as tall as tall. I want build list to stay its original height, even if it contains elements that are taller. Okay, interesting. Whoops. Okay, so it added flex grow and flex shrink, kind of like we had. I don't know what the calc thing is about.
That's assuming you have a 50 pixel header.
Oh, okay.
So it's being hard coded.
Yeah, I don't like that. And also, oh yeah, it scrolls inside. Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell it I don't want to hard code. I don't want to hard code the 50 pixels. Here's how I could what, ChatGPT? All right, apparently it's frozen here. I'm going to, oh, fuck. I stopped it at the exact moment it started again. Okay, I'm going to delete all of this. Um, oh, but this is no good because I only want to scroll inside of build list and I don't want the header to scroll.
Out of curiosity,
Uh-huh.
restricting the scrolling, I usually get like if you do that, it's stuff like hitting space to scroll the page stops working. There's some niceties that you lose for like accessibility and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, do you want the page not to scroll, or do you not want to lose the header?
Good question. Um, well, I want the build list and the build detail to scroll independently.
Okay.
And I don't see a scenario where you can scroll the whole page, but we retain the idea of the build list and the build detail scrolling separately. Because at that point, what would scrolling the whole page even mean? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think of it kind of like Gmail. Yeah, like the vast majority of the stuff in Gmail is static. You can never ever scroll most of the stuff. You can only scroll your list of emails. So that's what I'm after. Okay. So I want to say close, unless I already typed this and I forgot. Yeah, okay. Close. I only want the build list to be scrollable. I don't want the page to be scrollable. scrollable. Compare it to, for example, Gmail. Oh, I apparently have to use some JavaScript. Okay. I'll see what this does. Okay, it looks like that gives the desired effect. Do I have to use JavaScript? Okay, yeah, if I don't have to use JavaScript, it seems simpler not to. Okay, looks like that works. Okay, now add a second element next to build list with a class of build detail. Build detail should be on the right and build list should be on the left. Build list and build detail should be equal height and scrollable independently. Let's see if it manages that. So just to say something explicitly, the technique that I'm using here, which I do quite often, is if I'm having a hard time with something like this styling, I contrive some simpler scenario where I don't have all the baggage that this other thing has. And that way I can kind of isolate the thing that I want to figure out. Okay. Okay, that's not scrollable. Good, except neither build list nor build detail are scrollable. Scrollable. Okay, updated CSS. It's giving me CSS for content, build list, and build detail. Okay. Wow, that seems to work. Okay. Okay. This is basically what I want. Now let's try to apply it over here. Okay, so I'm actually going to start from a clean slate. Okay. Now help me apply. Oh, I'm going to give it to CSS too. Now help me apply the concepts from the sandbox project we just built to my Rails app. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Okay, bye, Sarah. Okay, and let me see if I understand what it's saying about this. Okay. Okay, so we have build list and build detail. Okay, that seems fine. But I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call this, I can't think of a better name other than build wrapper. Don't use inline styles. Give me styles for build wrapper. Okay, build list and build detail. Okay. Okay. In our sandbox project, we didn't have to hard code the header height. It doesn't seem like we should have to here either. Fix that. Okay, flex column 100. Okay, it's hard to tell what's different. Give me the whole style file. I'm getting confused. My prompt simply disappeared. Okay, and while I'm waiting for it, let's see if maybe I can just manually apply this stuff. Okay, so the body was flex and flex direction column, min height 100 VH, okay. Overflow hidden, that's missing. See what happens when we just do that much. Oh, that prevents scrolling, like it said. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna kill all this, copy this. It took me a little too literally, but that's okay. And it also doesn't work. Okay, similar mistake to last time. It doesn't seem to have, it says overflow Y auto. What happens if we do scroll instead? No, that doesn't work. Okay. Good, except build list and build detail should be independently scrollable. The way you did it, neither is scrollable at all. Okay, I'm just going to blow this all away and repaste. Okay, that looks right. We can take away the blue and green. Okay, much closer. I mean, this is exactly what I want. I think I want to mess with these widths a little bit, but this is very good so far. Okay, I'm going to take out some of these comments. Okay. Okay. Guess I can remove thing.html. Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to run the test suite again. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to say make build list and build detail independently scrollable. Okay. Now, I don't like that the rows in this table are now like so tall. And I want to maybe cut down on the commit message. I'm curious though what happens. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm going to cut down on the commit message. Instead of truncate 50, let's try truncate 30. Okay. okay, this isn't the absolute most beautiful thing in the world, but from a functional perspective, it gets me what I want. Okay. Truncate, commit, message, more. Okay. Now I'm going to deploy this. And unlike last time when I was deploying, my Docker image is quite a bit smaller now. And so deployment shouldn't take too terribly long. By the way, a former boss of mine reached out to me today. He sent me a Twitter message and he's like, I'm finally tired of GitHub Actions. How can I help with your CI project? So that was kind of encouraging. Okay.
Nice.
It said error, unexpected end of JSON output. I don't know what that's all about. I'm just going to try it again and see if anything different happens on a second try. Sometimes things just go sideways for no apparent reason, which is true in deployments and in life. Maybe it's working this time. I think the deployments might also take a bit longer due to the bandwidth of the Zoom call as well. All right, so we're going to let that do its thing. I'm going to go back to my list here. Make it so build list and build detail are a two-pane view. I think I can check that one off the list. And now we can turn our attention to having an easy way to see the test, easy way to see a list of test failures. Okay, so here's the deal with that one. Right now, if I want to see test failures, it looks like this. Obviously, not the easiest to parse. What I want is a nice list of the file names of the failures. So let's do that. And I want to make my development data a little bit more realistic. So I think I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to find this build. Oh, okay. Sorry. I just realized something else that really should be done before we do that. When a build is clicked, the URL should change because we need to be able to link directly to a build. So let's do that. I don't know how to do that. So project show. Oh, and I guess it's very close to time to go, but I'm going to at least get this started before we wrap up. Yeah, I want, when we click the created at link, I want the URL to change. When I click the created at link, I want the URL to change. Is that the normal way to do it? Is that the normal way to do it? There's not a more elegant way? Still has not deployed. I think maybe I just can't do deployments while I'm on a Zoom call. It's kind of unfortunate. Interesting. Okay, so maybe I'm not going to mess with that right now. Maybe this is a good place to leave it. We achieved our objective of getting these two independently scrollable panes. So I feel pretty happy about that. And then next, we'll pick back up with this to-do list and see where we can get. Anybody have any questions or comments or anything before we hop off? All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining me. See you next time.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good one.